Right now, you are an autist, right? You over optimize everything, look at every single little detail, and this causes you to not actually do anything, with your life. You don't really do much throughout your day. And you're essentially playing a 1v20, okay? Because people, who surround themselves, with like people they enjoy spending time with, they're gonna be in that mindset, of like progression and everything 24/7, while you're in this like you're in this like greed mindset, this like neediness mindset where like I need to get more progress, more gains, Meanwhile, if you're just with the people you want to be, that's gonna feel much better, and you together are gonna be striving for goals. Okay, so you're essentially playing a 1v20. I like to call this. Okay, like for me, when I'm with all my friends and everything, it feels like we're all striving for the same goals. Okay, just to show you, obviously you saw my physique a little bit there. This was like a video of me doing 40 kilo dips for 3 reps. I also helped a ton of people do similar transformations like mine, like Nafshan here. That's first community, link in the description. And right now what you're probably doing is you're over optimizing everything, right? You're doing 110%, overthinking every single little detail. And is this fun? Think to yourself, is this actually fun? No, it's not. Because you want to, reach some like certain amount of progress, right? Maybe this is like 100. Okay, let's say this is just 100. You doing like 110% trying to figure out every single little method, it's not fun. And that's not what you want to be doing, okay? And this is stopping you from actually getting, to your goals. Like, let's say your 2-plate dips, 1-plate pull-ups, and, getting absolutely yoked like I have. So these are the exact steps we're going to take to fix this. We're going to fix your brain, fix your mentality. We're going to follow the 80-20 rule. I'll talk about this soon. And also fix up your environment, okay? So part 1, to fixing your brain, okay? This is, your mentality right now is watching more videos equals more gains, okay? While it doesn't, I put this like doesn't equal sign because it actually equals less gains. Because, you overthinking, right? And trying to tweak every little thing, okay? Let's say this is the program you're on right now. And then you switch, okay? Because you want to make more progress, okay? You switch to some other program. That actually leads to less gains than if you were to have just like not watched that video. You wouldn't have switched to this program. You would have stayed consistent with this and probably gotten closer, to that island where we want to get to, let's say that 100 island, okay? You would have gotten like much closer to your 100 like island, whatever that goal is, right? So this is part 1, realizing this, okay? Watching more videos doesn't equal more gains. I struggled with this a ton. That's why I overemphasize it so much, okay? Because like I said, this is not actually fun, okay? And so you need to figure out, do what you want, okay? You need to figure this out. I figured this out from Hamza. He taught this, where he literally just talks about like do what you want, okay? Let's say you want to get to this goal, okay? Maybe this is the 100 kg lean goal, okay? This is probably not like a very realistic goal. You want to be 100 kg lean, let's say. That's your goal. Obviously, you're here right now. You can get here in many ways, okay? Obviously, tons of methods to get here. And you simply just want to get here. Maybe you have a preferred method, okay? But you keep on like getting shiny object syndrome, when you think something is so much better because you see everyone posting about it on YouTube. But you follow these programs, right? But this is not what you want to do. You want to just follow this little path here that you have. Whatever path that might be. Maybe that's with like some specific, non-optimal exercise that maybe isn't the best, but it's like old school and you really enjoy it, right? Tons of ways to go about this. Maybe you don't want to cut in bulk. Literally just figure out, do what you want, because it'll be so much easier to stay consistent to it, okay? And doing what you want, part of this is not watching so many videos, okay? Because watching the videos is not what you want. Overthinking, right? Overthinking, this is not fun. Right? You don't have fun when you overthink, okay? So you need to stop this by literally just watching less videos, okay? So the 80-20 rule is essentially where you get 80% of the results, okay? 80% of the results from just 20% of the work. So this is true for most things. Many things even have like a 90-10, but I'm not going to get into that. So yeah, the 80-20 rule for like the gym and everything and for strength is literally track your weight in reps, okay? Very simple. I don't see enough people doing this. Bro, this is like the simplest thing you can do. Even if you're pushing to failure on every set, I don't want to tell you, like, I don't want to lecture you about how that's wrong, because I just told you, you know, about how you should train how you like, okay? Even if you train to failure each set, track your weight and reps, because one day you might feel a little bit worse mentally, okay? And that might stop you from lifting as hard. And you don't want your emotions and other fluctuations to take place, like, when you want to be progressing, okay? Because at the end of the day, right, like we said, that's what you want. So, track your weight and reps, do this like, I just do this on my phone on the Notes app, okay? And keep it simple, okay? Please, like, don't overcomplicate things, especially in the beginning when you, like, when you're not absolutely sure, right, that this might be the best way. Just keep it simple and literally just do what you like once again, okay? And the final thing is stick to it for 90 days, okay? Why this is so important is because, like we said, man, you have this program, okay? And you go ahead and switch. That's going to ruin your progress, okay? That's going to ruin your progress because you just haven't stuck to it, okay? And you change stuff up, change this up, change this up. And so if you had just stuck to this in the long term, right? Maybe let's say for 365 days, okay? If you just stuck to this for 365 days instead of bouncing to this program and then bouncing to this program, right? And then bouncing to some other program, okay? If you just stuck to this, you would have made much better progress, okay? And so this is literally so important, okay? That's why I want you to make a contract of this, okay? How I do this is I literally have like a contract where it's like, for the next 90 days, I'm gonna follow XYZ training split, okay? I'm gonna follow XYZ training split, and I'm also gonna do whatever habit, you know? It's like I'm gonna follow whatever habit. Maybe this might be something for work, for business, whatever, okay? So, yeah, just make a paper of this, put it on your wall, and then literally just write, for 90 days, I will stick to whatever. Your step 3, okay, is your environment, okay? I'm sure you've heard this thing about where you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you hear that so much because it's freaking true, man. Like, if I were to look at your life and see the 5 people you spend the most time with, I would probably be able to guess how you will be like, okay? And so, if you are, once again, you want to get to whatever island, okay? You want to get to, like, the 100 island, let's say. And you spend time with people you don't like spending time with, right? That's not doing what you want, okay? If you don't want to spend time with them, don't do that, okay? And obviously, they aren't, like, helping you get to your goals, okay? And you don't want to be spending time with them. So go ahead and cut those people off, man. You know, it's gonna be tough in the beginning, for sure. And you're gonna have this, like, this gap period, you know? Like, right now you have friends, right? Maybe this was, like, whatever, however many years you had these friends for, okay? And then you're gonna have this, like, kind of gap where nothing really happens, okay? Where you don't really have friends, okay? And then you're gonna have this, once you reach here, okay, you're not gonna only have this many friends, you're gonna have this many friends, okay? You're gonna have way more friends, way better friends, and you're gonna get way more value from them, okay? And at the end of the day, once again, this is what you want to do, okay? So go ahead and follow that. For daily, I'm not sure what I wanted to mention here. I think I wanted to talk about, give me just a sec. Yeah, what I wanted to say was, during your day-to-day, okay? Your day-to-day, whatever you do, okay? If you have times where you don't spend, like, time with people you want to be spending with, okay? For me, personally, that's in school, okay? If you're from, like, my school and you're watching this, that's kind of ironic. But what I mean by this is I don't really like the people at school, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop out, right? Because I don't want to spend time with them, if that makes sense, okay? Because I don't find that productive, I don't find that leads me towards my goals, okay? And I want to keep on going towards my goals. So, I'm going to drop out, okay? You can do this however you like. Just literally look at your day and see, like, do I have a time where I spend time with people I don't like? Maybe that might be with your cousin, maybe that might be with whatever friend, okay? So go ahead and figure that out and go ahead and quit that thing, okay? It's going to be hard, but this is just, you just have to do it, okay? The other thing is social media, okay, and being a social Chad, okay? Do not use social media and you want to become a social Chad, right? And so, well, what do I mean by this, okay? You think being on social media right now, maybe you think it's productive, maybe you think it's good for your social life, and you don't understand, right? That you just need to freaking like be this Chad, right? If you want to be this Chad, you know, who does like do whatever, okay? You want to be this Chad, you know, who like talks to everyone in the gym, you know, helps out, you know, that guy who maybe who's struggling, right? To do that, you need to quit social media, because what's happening is you are like you're doing, let's say you're doing this is your dopamine levels, okay? Your dopamine is like really high. You use social media, okay? Some days super low, some days super high. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, this is how your day looks like, okay? And so obviously your baseline is gonna drop, okay? So, because if you have like spikes like these, your dopamine isn't gonna be able to recover, right? So let's say this is where your baseline should be, okay? It's actually here. And so when you do want to, because dopamine is actually like a motivation molecule, okay? Well, what happens is you don't have the motivation to talk to people because you've already gotten like overfulfilled from other things. You know, it's like, imagine your brain, like you saw like, oh wow, we just like, we were on social media and we just saw so many different people and do so many different things and it was so entertaining. Obviously, you know, you won't go ahead and like talk to some person in the gym because it'll seem so boring, right? And so that's kind of how it works, okay? And so to become the social Chad, you need to delete social media, okay? And once again, this is a big part of your environment, because if you look at where most of your time goes, it probably is in social media, okay? And so if you want to fix up your environment, that's an incredibly easy way to do that. I just want to emphasize, bro, how important this is, because my social life absolutely skyrocketed, like after I deleted social media. And no joke, bro, just deleting social media just like improved my mental health by 50%. I know you probably have some excuses for this, so I'm already gonna hit you with a 1-2, okay? For YouTube, okay, since you're probably addicted to YouTube, download Unhook, or actually not download, it's just like a browser extension, okay? Go ahead and use that, because your YouTube won't have any like recommendations. It also won't have shorts, okay? This is the best thing. Go ahead and do it right now after you uninstall social media, okay? So unhook and then uninstall, or wait, let me write delete because I don't have such good handwriting. So yeah, delete social media. And then the other thing is Beeper, because I know you probably use Instagram to text people and you're like, oh, I can't delete Instagram. So yeah, install Beeper so you can text those people. So yeah, bro, don't play the 1v20. Go ahead and play the 20v1. Thank you for watching, bro. I want to mention real quick, it's not here, but I have a free community below. That's the first link in the description, where I have like 134 like-minded people, bro, like us, striving towards their calisthenics goals. It's sick to see the post there. And you also get my free course on there. You also get a free one-to-one call with me, so we can, you know, go ahead and figure out your program, do everything for you, all that good stuff. I hope to see you there, bro. If you want to build a community like this, maybe we'll meet up one day or something. And yeah, see you, bro. Keep overloading. Let's get it, man. See you, bro. Boom, boom.